Hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm back with a brand new video, and as you can see we have a belt to review. So without further ado, let's get started. And as we can see, it is the World Heavyweight Championship Commemorative Replica. I'm going to squat down a little bit so we can get some better angles. But this belt, ironically, I've had this belt for well over a year, maybe going on maybe not quite 2 years, but I've had it for over a year. And I should have done this video a very long time ago, around the time when I did my well, I guess not around that time, but yeah, around the time when I did my Intercontinental commemorative belt review last year, because the Intercontinental belt was my first commemorative title, and I got this one maybe a couple of months later for a great steal on WWE Shop, and I've really just become a fan of these commemorative belts. They're really the way to go if you're, of course, one, if you're a collector, but two, it's just they're so much easier to manage than the heavy metal belts. So, and one thing I do like too about, I think they do this with all the belts now, is that they actually identify on the bag of what belt it is. In the past, going on, man, maybe about 6-7 years ago, when I first started collecting belts, I really, well, with the exception of a few of them, because like say for instance the ECW belt will be in the ECW bag, but a lot of my belts are just in bags that have the WWE scratch logo. And when you're searching for a particular belt, man, my gosh, I have to go through just about all of them to get the one I'm looking for. So this is just much more identifiable. It's much better. I know if I'm looking for this belt, and I can look at the bag and easily know what it is. So just a nice simple touch I like. So without further ado, let's get into it. Now, the commemorative belts are the difference between them as opposed to the traditional belts is that they are made of acrylic plastic. And it's the best acrylic plastic you will ever see. I mean, just look at the detail on this. I mean, just look at the gleam of that gold, and it's plastic, not metal, which is just mind-blowing. I mean, this is high quality. So yeah, it's acrylic. Oh, got a little stuck to the thing. Because let me back up a little bit. So yeah, it's acrylic. As you can see, this is the not universal. This is the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And just a little background. I always got to give you a little history, of course, when I'm doing one of my belt videos. This championship was introduced on the Monday Night Raw, the night after SummerSlam 2014. If you recall, SummerSlam 2014 was the night where Brock Lesnar defeated John Cena to become the, I believe it was the time it was called to become the unified heavyweight champion. At the time, Cena had both the old World Heavyweight Championship belt, which actually was the same design with it, but it had a different it had the traditional WWE scratch logo instead of this more streamlined WWE network style W. And he also had the World Heavyweight belt, so he had both of those belts. When Brock Lesnar beat him the next night on Raw, Brock was awarded this championship. And so of course the most recent, the current title holder is Drew McIntyre on the Raw brand, and of course Brock Lesnar's held the belt, Kofi Kingston, Daniel Bryan. Who else held the belt? This belt, I believe, and Seth Rollins. No, Seth Rollins hasn't held this. He's only been Universal Champion. AJ Styles, of course, had a very long run with the belt. So just to give you some of the recent history of the belt. And it's amazing because being that this is acrylic, I mean, this is so light. And everything else on the belt, aside from the acrylic, is the same as it would be on a regular standard replica. So the strap is leather, very high quality strap, and looks like some static is interfering with my Rusev throw. Or maybe it's the spirit of Rusev, since he's recently been released from WWE. Maybe he's messing with me. But Of course, we see the back of it. In the center, you have the gosh, can't even read it. Official WWE Authentic, seal. ShopWW.com, made in China. But not much to show outside of that. But just really just a very nice belt. And these commemorative belts, one, if I could go back and kind of start my belt collecting over, I would really have gotten more of these than the metal belts, because one, they're easier to manage, they look just as good displayed. I mean, you cannot tell. If I were to take this out on the streets, you would not be able to tell it was not a legit real replica belt. And they're cheaper, of course, being that they're plastic. These belts are roughly about $200 cheaper than your standard replica, and I got this one on a great sale. Back in, I want to say it had to be 2018 when I got this, I believe. But it was a great, sale I got on it. And, I'm really just a fan of it. And I do have, before I end this video, I do have something to discuss in regards to the belt. Now, I have seen in person at my local Target, there is a title. It's a replica belt that is virtually identical to this. It's inside of a large box, but it's called the WWE Collector's Championship, if I'm correct. I think that's the title of it. I think that's the name of it. Because I saw that actually both of the Targets that I frequent, it's called the WWE Collector's Championship. And from just what I saw in the box, it looks like an exact replica of the commemorative title, and this retails for $99. So $99, it has to have some good quality on it, since most of the belts that you see on the toy aisles are no more than probably $20, the standard WWE replica belts by Mattel. But this was it was by Mattel, and I believe it was. Yeah, it had to be by Mattel, because like it came in the boxes, any of their other figures, special figures and things. But yeah, it was called the WWE Collector's Championship. So if you have that belt or know any information about it, drop a line in the comments. I would just like to find out more about it, to see if it's essentially just a commemorative replica, or I guess a cheaper version of the commemorative replica. Well, that is all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed this belt review. I hope you enjoyed the Rusev throw. I hope that everyone is doing the best they can under the current situations. We are certainly living in very fascinating times, I would say, with the current pandemic and just with everything going on in the world because of it. But if there's one thing I can tell you, is to keep the faith, stay hopeful, and I'm a Christian, so I have to put it out there. But now is a good time to just if you're a believer, then to get into your word, pray, read the Bible, just get to know God on a better level during this time, because I do believe that God, he still answers prayers, he's still a healer, he's still a miracle worker. So I'm still keeping the faith that things are going to get better, and that's my advice to you. Just keep the faith, believe God, and I do think things are going to improve at some point. It may take a little longer than we would like, but I do think that good things are going to come eventually. So just keep your head up through this time, stay motivated, be sure to definitely go outside, get some fresh air, do some walking, some jogging, bike riding. Even just take a drive around town. If you just need to get out, just get in your car and just drive, through the neighborhood, or drive, just get outside and just see something other than your four walls. I think that will do all of us some good during this time. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you again after a while.